Well, story after story breaking today. We need to take a look at them all. A couple of things that we won't really spend our entire time on, but I think absolutely needs to be considered at least. Interesting story on the environmental front. We're now finding out, a recent study says the Himalayas and nearby peaks have lost no ice in the past 10 years. Now, you will remember back in Copenhagen that there was a big speech made by Al Gore stating that the Himalayas would be melted by 2035. Now, apparently he was supposed to say 2,350. Nevertheless, now we find out there's no melting happened there at all. None in the last 10 years. So all of this hype about global warming, that's all it is. It's a big hoax. We've been told over and again that it is a hoax, that it was all drummed up in order to get all of us to agree to a huge international treaty on global warming that would control the carbon emissions of every one of our lives. What kind of a car you drive, what kind of a furnace you have in your house, on and on and on and on. It was the hope of the globalists to pass this treaty. Well, they haven't given up. Matter of fact, they think that you are so stupid that they now say, well, there's climate change going on. Well, we didn't have to have high-paid politicians to tell us there was climate change going on. We know it's going to be different tomorrow than today and different the next day after that, and on and on and on and on. I mean, climate change, what's that mean? That's like running for office on a platform of change. I mean, if you're there to say, I'm for change, I'm for change, I'm for change, and everybody jumps up and down and froths at the mouth and says, yeah, me too, what's that mean? I don't know, but I am for it. I mean, that's the kind of shallowness that is happening in our world today. So it's very interesting when we see all this happening. And, oh, by the way, we had quite a program yesterday because the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that the constitutional amendment passed by the people of California was unconstitutional under the federal Constitution. Now then all of a sudden that throws that into limbo again. It's apparently going to be appealed all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, but that's another interesting thing. But we may go all over the place today because there's a lot of interesting things to talk about. However, real quick before we go any farther, I do want to mention that a political earthquake has hit the United States of America. Nobody saw this coming that I know about. Mr. Rick Santorum won all three primaries that were held yesterday, and he didn't win them little. He won them huge. Minnesota, he had like 40-some%. Ron Paul second with 25%. Mitt Romney a distant third, I think around 17% or so. That was shocking. Everybody expected Romney to take Colorado. That didn't happen either. Santorum won there as well. Missouri, Santorum won there as well. And all of a sudden, Rick Santorum almost looks like a front runner. What is going on here? And for Ron Paul to beat Mitt Romney in Minnesota, that's absolutely astounding as well. So those are some other interesting things we may talk about. However, I'll tell you what, let's do. Before we go any farther, let's go to the phones. Torcia is calling from right here in Texas. Torcia's been with us a long time. Hello, Torcia.
Yes, it's good to hear from you again. I just wanted to call to let you know that I was so blessed by your program yesterday, and it was so refreshing to hear your message. And it's my prayer that those who are in the pulpit will do a better job in preaching the truth concerning the sin of homosexuality. And to comment on the young lady, I think she may have been your last caller, who basically mentioned that it's our duty to preach or, let the people know about the sin and just kind of leave it at that. Because it's their choice, even though I do understand that that it is their choice. But at the same time, Brother Baxter, and you know this for yourself, not only are we called to take a stand, but we're also called to stand against the wiles of the of Satan. By faith we go out and we preach the word, but at the same time, by faith we take a stand. And that's my prayer for all of us who are called by God's name. And we are in a spiritual battle. You know that. All of us know that. And I would love to hear for pastors to get a better understanding and get a revealing from the Lord on how to fight this spiritual battle, this warfare that we're in these end times. I'm reading a book right now by Pastor Ron Phillips, who has wrote about this same situation. And I hadn't finished it yet, but I'm being blessed just by what I've read so far. But we need to take a stand. It's more than just preaching. We need to take a stand.
Torsha, in the Bible, there was a situation developed in the Corinthian church. They had a man living with his father's wife. And the Corinthian church thought they were being broad-minded and loving by just looking the other way and saying, God's good, grace is wonderful, and God bless you. However, the Apostle Paul said, wait a minute, I've heard about this, and I've judged it as though I was already there. Don't you understand that the church judges those that are within and that God judges those that are without? Therefore, Paul said, put that evil person away from you, lest you be held responsible for God for what you have allowed to become a part of your church. Well, he rebuked very sharply that situation. Apparently, the Apostle Paul, confronting the situation, caused the man to repent. And he writes in 2 Corinthians and says, now, that person that did repent, now receive such a one in a spirit of meekness, lest you be likewise tempted. So even while a person is in unrepentant sin, we have to stand strong against it. If they will repent and change their ways, then we just as quickly are ready to accept them back in and say, okay, let's serve the Lord together.
Yes, thank you. And also to comment on President Obama real quick, I'm African American. I love my African American community. I couldn't vote for Obama because of his stance on abortion and marriage. I couldn't do it. I'm praying that he will be enlightened of what the Lord would have him do concerning that issue. But the policies that Obama promotes are the very policies that hurt the African American community, and we as African Americans need to understand and know that the big government, our families, where the single parent, the abortion, we make up, I believe, maybe 13 or 14% of the population, but we have more abortions in our community than the other groups. That's not a good thing. That's not good. And I'm hoping that the African American community, I'm not proud of Obama's stance. I'm not proud of him being my president. And I know that may offend some of my African American people, but I cannot continue to we just can't continue to have this, to keep voting for people or giving people a pass on issues that hurt our community tremendously. And so I wanted to put that out there, and not to degrade Obama in any kind of way, but this is a spiritual battle, and we need to be in prayer. We need to ask the Lord to help us on how to stand and fight this spiritual warfare.
Torsha, it all boils down to this: no matter what color we might be, we should not be voting on color. We need to be voting on principles,
right,
and what the truth is. And so, I think it's been seen by now that the American people are able to receive from an individual leadership, no matter the color, but depending on the policies. It's just like Herman Cain, until all the problems that his candidacy hit, he was really climbing quickly among Republicans. And I think it really was a truthful thing. And I think that a lot of the things he was representing that the people really were believing in. However, of course, he had all the problems in his candidacy, and so he did withdraw. But I really think America, by and large, maybe, probably not 100%, but by and large, I think we're over the color thing pretty much. I think we're looking for real leadership on the principles that we believe in.
I think so too, Brother Baxter.
Yeah.
Baxter, thank you very much.
Okay, Torcia, and thank you as well. Our callers are coming in quickly. In the little bit of time we have left in this segment, let me take just a moment to talk about this interesting thing that happened in what's normally considered liberal Minnesota. Now all of a sudden it looks like the Minnesotans are finding their backbone because they vote for Rick Santorum, who is, let me give you a little bit of what Rick Santorum and Ron Paul actually stand for. I have a little scorecard we put together. You will see it published in the next Endtime magazine. But as far as same-sex marriage, both Ron Paul and Rick Santorum are against same-sex marriage. When it comes to national health insurance, socialism, both Ron Paul and Rick Santorum are against national health insurance. So there's a lot of interesting conservative views that these people stand for. And Americans are saying we are tired of all of the traditional values of America being trampled on. So it's very important that we realize what is really happening right now. Now, I also want to say to you right before the break here that a lot of you are calling in right now, signing up for our trip to Israel. We're going to have a wonderful time together. I get homesick every year about this time when I know I'm getting close to leaving for Israel. It's going to be an exciting trip. We're going to Israel and also for a Mediterranean Sea cruise, which is just incredible, marvelous. We will walk in the footsteps of Jesus Christ and his apostles, stand on the Mount of Olives, actually walk right into the tomb where Jesus lay for 3 days and 3 nights. We will stand on the Temple Mount, right where the Israel's third temple will soon be built. I mean, it's like walking through history and also walking through the prophetic future. So if there's any way you can go with us, it's a 14-day tour. It's a marvelous, marvelous trip of a lifetime. If you'd like to go with Judy and I, pick up the phone right now and call us, 1-800-END-TIME. Now, don't wait, though, because we want to make sure we have enough seats for everybody. We're getting really close to the time. So call right now, ask to speak to someone about the tour.